Most compliments push attraction away instead of pulling it closer, and almost no one talks about why. Words that sound kind or flattering often trigger pressure, resistance, or emotional distance. This video reveals a different side of attraction, one rooted in psychology rather than praise. What you are about to hear challenges common advice and replaces it with insights drawn from behavioral science and real human dynamics. These compliments work because they shift how a woman feels internally. They create emotional safety, they spark curiosity, they quietly separate confident men from those who seek approval. This is where attraction actually begins. In this video, you will learn 8 specific compliments that operate on a deeper psychological level. These are rarely discussed because they require awareness rather than performance. Each one aligns with how attraction forms in the brain and nervous system. Research in relationship psychology shows that emotional regulation, presence, and perceived self-control strongly influence desire. The compliments you will hear today reflect those traits. They communicate value without asking for validation. They allow interest to grow naturally instead of forcing a reaction. As the video unfolds, you will discover why appearance-based praise often fails, even when intentions feel genuine. You will learn how certain words signal emotional maturity and stability, traits consistently linked with long-term attraction. You will also understand why timing and delivery matter more than clever phrasing. Small shifts in language can change the entire emotional meaning of a compliment. These details stay hidden in most advice because they require slowing down and observing human behavior closely. There is also an important contrast revealed in this video. Attraction driven by validation feels intense at first, yet fades quickly. Attraction driven by emotional safety grows stronger over time. The compliments shared here belong to the second category. They reflect awareness, grounded presence, and respect. These qualities activate curiosity and trust, which are far more powerful than excitement alone. Many men accidentally sabotage attraction by trying too hard to impress. This video shows a quieter, more effective path. Stay until the end, because the final insight ties everything together. It explains the single rule that determines whether any compliment strengthens attraction or weakens it. This rule often matters more than the words themselves. Once understood, it changes how you communicate across all relationships, not only romantic ones. It also explains why silence, restraint, and calm energy often speak louder than praise. Welcome to our channel, a place where psychology meets real-world dynamics without gimmicks or empty motivation. If you value deeper understanding, emotional intelligence, and personal growth, you belong here. Subscribe to the channel and stay with us for content that helps you communicate with clarity, confidence, and quiet authority. Compliments usually fail because they are offered from the wrong emotional place. Many men speak to impress, to be accepted, or to be liked, and that intention quietly leaks through their words. Even when the compliment sounds positive, it carries a sense of pressure. Attraction does not grow from being praised. It grows from how a woman feels in your presence. If she feels relaxed, understood, and emotionally safe, attraction has space to form. If she feels evaluated or placed on a pedestal, the connection tightens and pulls away. This is why attraction is never about the compliment itself. It is about the emotional state you create around it. A compliment delivered with self-control and calm presence feels different from one driven by desire. Awareness is the key difference. When you notice something genuine about her character, her emotional responses, or the way she moves through the world, the compliment feels grounded. It reflects observation rather than need. Women respond to this because it signals confidence without force. Neediness changes the emotional meaning of words. It turns a compliment into a request, even if it is never spoken aloud. Awareness does the opposite. It allows the compliment to stand on its own without expecting anything in return. A powerful compliment does not describe how much you want her or how attractive she is to you. It describes who she is in a way that shows you see her clearly. That clarity creates attraction because it feels rare, calm, and real. One of the most powerful compliments you can give focuses on emotional presence rather than surface traits. When you acknowledge how calm or grounded she feels, you are speaking to an experience instead of an appearance. This type of compliment tells her that her energy has an effect, that being around her changes the emotional tone of the moment. It shows that you are paying attention to how she moves through space, how she responds, and how she carries herself when nothing is being performed. That awareness feels rare because most people rush past these details. Complementing emotional presence creates a sense of safety because it removes pressure. There is no comparison. There is no evaluation of beauty or worth. Instead, the focus is on how she naturally shows up. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her nervous system relaxes. Trust begins to form without effort. This is where attraction quietly takes root. Safety allows curiosity to emerge, and curiosity opens the door to deeper connection. By focusing on emotional impact, you also communicate self-control. You are not trying to extract a reaction or force intimacy. You are simply acknowledging a quality that exists. This signals confidence and emotional maturity. Over time, these moments accumulate. They shape how she feels around you, which matters far more than any flattering remark about appearance. Emotional presence speaks to something deeper, and that depth is what draws people closer. Acknowledging a woman's self-respect is a compliment that operates beneath the surface. When you recognize her boundaries, her standards, or the way she protects her time and energy, you are speaking to something deeply personal. Many people overlook this because boundaries are often misunderstood as distance. In reality, they are a sign of clarity and inner strength. Noticing them shows that you are observant and emotionally aware rather than reactive or entitled. When a woman feels that her self-respect is seen, she feels understood. It tells her that you are paying attention to who she is, not just how she appears or how she makes you feel. This creates a quiet sense of validation that does not demand anything in return. It also removes pressure because you are not trying to cross limits or test them. You are acknowledging their existence and respecting them. That respect builds trust in a natural way. This kind of compliment signals maturity because it shows restraint. You are comfortable with space. You are not rushing toward closeness. Confidence is reflected in how calmly you respond to her standards instead of challenging or dismissing them. Over time, this presence changes the emotional dynamic. She feels safer expressing herself honestly, knowing her boundaries will be met with understanding rather than resistance. Subtle intelligence is best recognized through observation rather than direct praise. Instead of labeling her as smart, attention is placed on how she thinks, how she processes information, or how she responds in conversation. Noticing the way she connects ideas, asks thoughtful questions, or handles situations with clarity feels more personal than a generic compliment. It shows that you are listening and engaging with her mind, not just reacting to her presence. Pointing out these moments activates curiosity because it feels unexpected. Many compliments aim for approval, but this approach feels calm and precise. There is no pressure to perform or prove anything. She does not feel evaluated. She feels noticed. That distinction matters. When intelligence is acknowledged through behavior, it becomes validation without weight. It affirms something she already knows about herself, rather than creating a standard she must live up to. This type of compliment also reflects emotional control. You are not trying to impress or flatter. You are simply reflecting what you observe. That reflection creates a balanced dynamic. She becomes more open, more expressive, because the space feels safe and equal. Curiosity grows naturally when someone feels mentally seen. Over time, this recognition deepens connection and keeps attraction grounded in respect rather than excitement alone. Emotional depth is often misunderstood, yet it plays a powerful role in attraction. Recognizing her emotional awareness means noticing how she understands feelings, both her own and those of others. This is not about intensity or dramatic expression. It is about depth. It is the ability to sit with emotions, respond thoughtfully, and navigate situations with sensitivity rather than reaction. When you acknowledge this quality, you are touching something that feels private and meaningful. Many people confuse emotional expression with emotional maturity. Depth shows itself in restraint, in empathy, and in the way she listens or responds when situations carry weight. Pointing this out communicates that you see beyond surface behavior. It tells her that her inner world is noticed and respected. That recognition creates a strong sense of connection because it feels rare and sincere. Emotional bonding forms when someone feels understood at this level. The attraction that grows from this place is quieter, but more stable. It is rooted in trust and mutual understanding rather than excitement or intensity. By recognizing emotional depth, You shift the dynamic away from surface level attraction and towards something more grounded. She feels safe revealing more of herself because the space feels calm and attentive. That shared emotional awareness allows connection to deepen naturally without force or performance. Authentic femininity reveals itself through presence rather than performance. It shows in the way she moves, speaks, and carries her energy when she is being herself. Appreciating this natural quality means noticing how she exists in a space without trying to impress. It is not about exaggerated beauty or carefully crafted appearance. It is about the ease and warmth that come through when she is comfortable in her own skin. When you acknowledge her natural energy, the compliment feels grounded and sincere. It tells her that she does not need to amplify or adjust herself to be seen. This creates a sense of relief. Many women feel constant pressure to maintain an image. Recognizing authenticity removes that pressure and replaces it with acceptance. That acceptance strengthens attraction because it allows her to relax and be present. Authenticity increases perceived value because it signals confidence and self-trust. A woman who is comfortable expressing her true self carries a quiet strength. Noticing this shows emotional awareness and discernment. It communicates that you value substance over display. Over time, this recognition deepens connection because it affirms something lasting rather than temporary. The attraction that grows from authenticity feels stable and calm, rooted in appreciation rather than approval seeking. Strength does not always announce itself. Often it shows up in softness, in the ability to remain steady without needing to dominate a room. Highlighting this quiet strength means noticing how she stays composed under pressure, how she responds with calm rather than force, or how she holds her ground without raising her voice. These moments reveal emotional strength, which carries far more weight than loud confidence or visible assertiveness. When this quality is acknowledged, it creates a sense of respect. Emotional strength reflects self-awareness and inner stability. It shows that she does not rely on external validation to feel secure. Recognizing this tells her that you see beneath the surface and value resilience over display. This kind of recognition feels validating without being overwhelming because it aligns with who she already is. Respect-based attraction grows from this space. It is steady and enduring rather than intense and fleeting. By highlighting strength and softness, you communicate maturity and discernment. You are not drawn to noise or performance. You are responding to substance. This shifts the dynamic toward equality and trust. She feels appreciated for her character, not for how loudly she presents herself, which allows attraction to deepen in a natural and grounded way. Individuality is one of the most overlooked drivers of attraction. Complementing what makes her different means paying attention to details that are easy to miss and impossible to copy. It might be the way she sees the world, the rhythm of her humor, or the values she quietly lives by. These traits are often invisible to casual attention, yet they define who she is. Noticing them shows presence and genuine interest rather than habit or routine. Most compliments fall into familiar patterns because they focus on obvious traits. When you move beyond what every man notices, the emotional tone changes. She does not feel compared or categorized. She feels recognized. That recognition carries weight because it reflects observation and care. It tells her that you see her as an individual rather than a role or an image. This kind of compliment creates a sense of being irreplaceable. Interchangeability fades when someone feels understood at a personal level. Attraction deepens because the connection feels specific and grounded. You are responding to who she is, not to a generic idea. That specificity builds emotional closeness without pressure, allowing trust and curiosity to grow naturally within the interaction. Expressing how she affects you can be powerful when it is grounded and restrained. The focus stays on impact rather than dependency. You acknowledge a change in mood, perspective, or energy without implying that your emotional state depends on her. This distinction matters because it preserves balance. Appreciation feels light and genuine, while attachment can feel heavy and demanding. When the words reflect appreciation, the emotional space remains open and relaxed. Framing the compliment this way shows self-control. You are aware of your experience, yet you are not placing responsibility on her to maintain it. This communicates confidence and emotional stability. She senses that you are complete on your own, which allows attraction to grow without pressure. The compliment becomes a reflection rather than a request. Balanced attraction thrives on mutual respect. By expressing impact calmly, you allow her to receive the appreciation without feeling pulled into obligation. The connection feels equal rather than tilted. This approach keeps curiosity alive because it leaves room for choice and freedom. She feels valued without being burdened, which strengthens trust and keeps the emotional dynamic steady and natural. Timing shapes the meaning of every compliment more than the words themselves. The same sentence can feel grounding in one moment and uncomfortable in another. When a compliment arrives too early or too often, it can feel disconnected from reality. It loses weight because it does not match the emotional context. Attention to timing shows awareness. It signals that you are present and responsive rather than reactive. A compliment carries the most power when it follows a genuine moment. When it aligns with something she has just expressed, done, or revealed, it feels earned and natural. If the timing is off, even well-chosen words can feel hollow. This is why restraint matters. Holding back allows the moment to breathe. It lets meaning build rather than forcing expression. Silence and presence often communicate more than speech. A calm pause, steady eye contact, or relaxed energy can amplify the impact of a compliment. When it finally arrives, presence creates contrast. It allows words to land with clarity instead of blending into noise. This approach reflects confidence and emotional control. It shows that you do not rely on constant affirmation to maintain connection. When timing and presence work together, a compliment feels intentional, grounded, and emotionally resonant. Attraction is shaped by emotional regulation more than effort. Self-control creates a sense of stability that feels grounding to others. Chasing disrupts that balance because it introduces urgency and pressure. When attention is given freely rather than forcefully, it carries a different emotional tone. Calm presence allows attraction to grow at its own pace without resistance. Compliments function best as mirrors. They reflect what is already present rather than asking for something in return. When a compliment becomes a request, its meaning shifts. It no longer feels like recognition. It feels like a transaction. Speaking from calm confidence keeps the interaction steady and respectful. The words land without weight because they are not attached to expectation. Desire does not need to be announced to be felt. In many cases, it is more powerful when it remains contained. Calm confidence communicates security and clarity. It shows that you are comfortable with yourself and with uncertainty. This creates an environment where attraction can respond naturally. The energy stays balanced because nothing is being forced. The compliment remains a reflection of awareness, grounded in presence rather than longing. Real attraction is not built through techniques or rehearsed lines. It grows from personal development, emotional awareness, and the way you carry yourself over time. When you focus on growth, your communication changes naturally. Your words become steadier, your presence becomes calmer. You stop trying to create reactions and start allowing connection to form on its own. This shift is subtle, yet it changes everything. Emotional intelligence is what makes attraction sustainable. It shapes how you listen, how you respond, and how you regulate your energy in moments that matter. Compliments work when they come from understanding rather than strategy. They feel grounded because they are honest reflections, not tools for influence. As emotional intelligence deepens, attraction follows without effort. The most powerful reminder is simple and timeless. When you do not seek approval, your words carry weight. They land with clarity because they are not asking for permission or validation. They stand on their own. That is where confidence becomes felt rather than announced. If this video brought you value, take a moment to like it so more people can find it. Subscribe to our channel for more content focused on psychology, emotional intelligence, and real personal growth.